Deconstructing the bureaucratic state. Hi there, crypto fans. Dick Allgire here. Another beautiful day in Ethereum place with Bitcoin kissing $90,000. It's a beautiful day. All right, we're talking about how the bureaucratic state is going to be dismantled. Is it going to be a catastrophic failure, which would be very painful for a lot of people, or will it be a managed deconstruction, which will still be painful for a lot of people, but most of them will be federal employees, so we don't care so much. All right, let me make clear my definitions. I'm not talking about the deep state. What you think of as the deep state is actually an administrative structure that is supranational, that is above nation states, and supra-governmental, which is above governments. The bureaucratic state is the creation of all the agencies that have sprung up in the United States. I'll tell you what happened. In 1938, the United States Corporation went bankrupt. And so they reorganized it under international law. And since that time, we've had the pretense of constitutional law, but we've actually been under international law. And now with the advent of technology and what's about to happen when Donald Trump takes over, we're going to be moving to transactional law. So what that means is that the bureaucratic state has to go, and it's going to go. It's got to go for two reasons. One, we can no longer afford it. The United States is over more than $35 trillion in debt, and that is that's unpayable. And the bureaucratic state is no longer needed because we're coming to a time in technology where we will be administered under a technological state with transactional law. So all of this is facilitated by the so-called Chevron Decision. You may have heard about that. It went over most people's head, but the Chevron Decision was a Supreme Court decision. And what it did was it eliminated the ability of government agencies, all the three-letter agencies, the FDA, the FCC, the FAA, SEC, all these agencies, they were making policies and regulations that were enforced as if they were law, but they weren't law because the way the nation was set up with three branches of government, the legislative branch drafts the laws, and then the executive branch runs the government, and the judicial branch determines whether this is all done legally. Well, Donald Trump put three constitutional justices on the Supreme Court, and they ruled that no, Congress has to make laws. So all these three-letter agencies that were making policy and regulations, they don't have the power to review those and enforce those anymore. It's got to be reviewed by the courts, and the laws have to be made by Congress. So that paves the way for Elon Musk to come in with a machete and do what he did to Twitter, and that is cut about 75% of the waste, and he's going to do that. And they will cry bloody murder, and there will be lawsuits, but with a constitutional Supreme Court, the bureaucratic state is going to lose. So they were either going to go by catastrophic failure, by just running out of money, and we still may run out of money because we're paying $1 trillion just on the interest of the debt. We now pay more on the interest for the debt than we do on the military budget. So Elon Musk and Donald Trump are going to just cut. It's going to be very interesting. So why is technology making that redundant or no need for the bureaucratic state? I'll give you a story. A few years ago, I renewed my driver's license. I was I have a mentor who explains to me how the world works and was giving me instruction in what the real administrative state of the world is. And I was lamenting the fact that I'd waited in line at the satellite city hall here in Honolulu to renew my driver's license. And I took my proof of residency to the name Dick Allgire, which was how I was known on TV, but my official name is Richard Allgire. And the clerk behind the desk said, "No, I can't accept these because you're Richard Allgire and these say Dick." And I said, "Richard, Dick, William, Bill, Thomas, Tom, Jeffrey, Jeff, it's the same thing." She goes, "No, it's not." And so after waiting in the line all day, I had to go get documentation that said Richard Allgire and wait in line again. And I was just, and I was telling this story, and my mentor said, "Dick, that person's not going to have a job in the very near future. And all those agencies and all those little bureaucratic offices are going to go away." Why? Because we're coming to a time where we're going to be using digital ID with biometric authentication. We're going to be using smart contracts. We're going to be under a trustless system that is governed by distributed ledger blockchain technology. So you don't need an agency to validate something. It'll be validated by the code, and it will be an immutable ledger, and it will be a smart contract administered by artificial intelligence, and there will be little robotic stations for you to do the transactions, and you're just not going to need all these people. So we've got all these people working at agencies, state, federal, governmental agencies, and a lot of them are going to go away. And so we're coming to a new system. We've been talking about this at futureforecastinggroup.com. I just did a almost one hour conversation on this subject with my really good source, someone who doesn't appear here in public, and you can hear that on our private site today at futureforecastinggroup.com. That's my plug. A big part of this is distributed ledger technology is going to transform the financial system. It's all going to digital. Bitcoin, I've been advocating for Bitcoin since it was 5,000. Today it is almost 80,000. And the people that listen to us and a lot of our members have become very, very comfortable. So you can hear more at futureforecastinggroup.com, and it's going to be a really interesting show to watch Elon Musk and Donald Trump bring the machetes into the bureaucratic state, because it's going away one way or the other.